All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to Promotech. Thanks for tuning in. Samsung just quietly changed the direction of the Galaxy Ultra series, and the consequences could be much bigger than most people realize. Beneath the camera upgrades, battery rumors, and processor headlines sits a collection of decisions that reveal something unexpected. For the first time in years, Samsung doesn't seem focused on adding more. Instead, it looks like they're finally fixing what shouldn't have been there in the first place. And when you connect all the dots, the Galaxy S27 Ultra starts looking less like a new phone and more like a course correction. Let's dive right into the video. For years, the Galaxy Ultra lineup had a strange problem. It was excellent, but it stopped feeling exciting. The S24 Ultra, S25 Ultra, and even the S26 Ultra were all powerful devices, yet many longtime Samsung fans kept pointing back to the S23 Ultra as the phone that truly mattered. That's not a position Samsung wants to be in. When your newest devices are constantly compared to a 3-year-old phone, something has gone wrong. And that brings us to the first change nobody seems to be discussing properly. Samsung is reportedly removing the dedicated 3x telephoto camera. At first glance, that sounds like a downgrade. Fewer cameras usually means fewer capabilities. But when you look closer, the reality is a lot less dramatic. That 3x sensor has been one of the weakest parts of Samsung's camera system for years. Small sensor, limited light capture, and in many situations the main camera was already producing better results through cropping and processing. What Samsung appears to be doing isn't removing functionality. They're removing redundancy. And what replaces it is far more important. The rumored HP6 200-megapixel sensor isn't interesting because of the megapixel count. We've heard that number before. What's interesting is the reported sensor size increase. Bigger sensors change everything. More light, cleaner shadows, better dynamic range, and photos that rely less on aggressive processing. Then comes the part that genuinely caught my attention. Variable aperture. Samsung introduced this years ago and then quietly abandoned it. Now it may be returning at exactly the moment the rest of the industry is moving in the same direction. That's not just nostalgia. That's Samsung revisiting an idea before it becomes mainstream again. And if these leaks are accurate, it tells us something important. Samsung may finally be prioritizing real optical improvements instead of software trying to imitate hardware. But the camera story gets even more interesting. The rumored horizontal camera bar design has generated a lot of discussion, but most people are treating it like a visual redesign. I don't think that's what it is. The old camera layout occupied valuable internal space. Space that Samsung reportedly needed to properly implement magnetic charging solutions. For years, Galaxy users watched iPhone owners build entire ecosystems around magnetic accessories, while Android manufacturers slowly played catch-up. If the camera layout changed to enable stronger magnetic integration, then this isn't a cosmetic update at all. It's an engineering compromise that unlocks an entirely different category of features. Sometimes the most important upgrades are the ones hiding underneath the design. Speaking of long-standing complaints, let's talk batteries. Samsung has been stuck at 5,000 milliamp hours for what feels like forever. Meanwhile, competitors pushed past 6,000 milliamp hours and kept going. Now we're hearing reports of silicon carbon battery technology potentially allowing capacities between 5,500 and 6,000 milliamp hours without dramatically increasing size. The interesting part isn't the extra capacity. It's what the increase represents. For years, Samsung defended efficiency instead of addressing battery concerns directly. This time, they appear to be addressing both. Better efficiency and bigger capacity. That's a very different philosophy. Quick pause for a second. If you're someone who enjoys digging deeper into technology stories instead of just reading spec sheets, you should definitely check out Walverse. One thing I appreciate is how they focus on the bigger picture behind tech decisions rather than just headline features. It's the same reason we're talking about the S27 Ultra this way today. Understanding why companies make certain moves is often more interesting than the move itself. Now let's get back into it, because the next leak might be the most important one. Polar ID. If Samsung actually delivers a secure facial authentication system without a notch, island, or major display interruption, the implications go way beyond unlocking your phone. For years, the industry accepted the idea that advanced face recognition required visible hardware compromises. Apple built an entire design language around that trade-off. But if Samsung can achieve similar security while preserving a clean display experience, that changes the conversation completely. And then there's the rumored Galaxy S27 Pro. not Plus. Pro. That naming change might sound minor, but it could signal a major shift in Samsung's lineup strategy. A smaller flagship carrying most of the Ultra experience has been one of the biggest requests from Android enthusiasts for years. People don't necessarily want smaller capabilities. They want smaller phones. Those are two very different things. And if Samsung finally understands that distinction, the S27 Pro could end up becoming one of the most important devices in the entire lineup. Before we go any further, I just want to mention that more than 70% of people watching right now aren't subscribed. If you're into detailed breakdowns like this and enjoy looking beyond the marketing slides, consider joining the community. The goal here has always been helping smart tech enthusiasts see what's happening before everyone else starts talking about it. When I step back and look at all these rumored changes together, I keep coming back to the same thought. None of them feel random. Removing the weakest camera, bringing back variable aperture, redesigning the camera layout, expanding battery capacity, introducing Polar ID, creating a compact Pro model. Every single one addresses a complaint that's existed for years. That's why the Galaxy S27 Ultra doesn't feel like a normal yearly upgrade. It feels like Samsung finally responding to years of criticism all at once. The part I'm still trying to figure out is whether this represents Samsung leading again or simply catching up to where the market already moved. Because those are two very different stories. And depending on which one is true, the Galaxy S27 Ultra could either become the phone that redefines the Ultra series or the phone that proves Samsung waited a little too long. Take care and stay safe. I'll see you in the next one soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.